Tonight, a step forward to take a step back on blanket rezoning.
We're acting immediately on the concerns that Calgarians told us.
Calgary Council passes the first hurdle to roll back the controversial policy. Plus, a reunion 10 years in the making. After a long legal battle, a family of Syrian refugees are reunited in Calgary. And the government greenlights hunting on harvest preserves.
It's not hunting, it's shooting fish in a barrel.
The concerns over targeting fenced-in elk and deer.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Terry Fikowski.
Good evening. The debate around blanket rezoning is returning to City Hall. Many campaign to repeal the policy, but moving ahead would mean another costly public hearing, and some housing advocates say it would be a step backwards. Jordan Canigan has a story.
They heard it knocking on doors on the campaign trail.
So we're acting immediately on the concerns that Calgarians told us during the election.
And now Calgary could see blanket rezoning gone. Councillors will debate the issue in December.
We heard loud and clear from Calgarians that they wanted us to reconsider the decision that was previously made. This motion is to actually reconsider it, go to a new public hearing. I don't believe that the cost is going to be that much of a factor.
But cost will have to be considered. Any changes to the land use bylaw would need another public hearing. The last hearing for blanket rezoning was more than 2 weeks long and cost more than $1 million. For some, the cost is worth it.
Calgary is a city of communities, and each community has unique aspects, and the approach taken by administration didn't take into account those unique aspects, and it didn't really consult with the citizens in those communities.
Others see this motion as a step backwards as Calgary contends with a housing crisis.
I think that there's opportunities to improve the policy, address some of the issues, but I really don't see us making the same kind of headway on affordability when we're rolling things back.
But the mayor wants to see the current strategy replaced, not just gone altogether.
In terms of the replacement, it's very important for us to approach it not just from a government perspective in terms of capital, the housing that we're building through, say, Calgary Housing Company, affordable housing, but also on the regulatory side.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
The debate in council will happen on December 15th, and if passed, changes to the bylaw would need to come back for a public hearing to take place in March. Meantime, the city of Calgary marked its Métis Week with a flag raising amid a recent discussion around what kind of flags can fly at City Hall. The Métis flag was raised this morning in front of Old City Hall. It comes as the mayor announced last week he will push to ban national flag raising at City Hall. The Palestinian flag was briefly raised over the weekend to mark Canada recognizing Palestine as a state.
I was not elected to weigh in on international conflicts, but as mayor, it's my job to show up for every single Calgarian, for every single community. So I don't support the rising of international flags, but it's very clear that flags like, say, that of Treaty 7 or the Métis Nation or Pride, these are all about celebrating local Calgarians.
At the UCP's annual meeting in Edmonton later this month, members will be voting on a suggestion to ban all flags except official government flags at municipal buildings. That would affect flags such as the Pride rainbow flag and the transgender flag, but not all party policy becomes law. Alberta's Federation of Labour and LGBTQ+ advocates are raising concerns that the province could possibly invoke the notwithstanding clause again, this time affecting trans youth. The province will introduce a bill aimed at protecting Alberta children sometime this week. Critics warn it will target the most vulnerable. Tyson Fedor reports.
A very small rally of Labour and trans right advocates were on the front steps of the Alberta Legislature Monday. They say the province is set to invoke the notwithstanding clause against some of the province's most vulnerable youth.
If they're going to use the notwithstanding clause to strip rights from workers, if they're going to use it to strip rights from vulnerable trans youth, who's next?
The notwithstanding clause allows governments to pass legislation that could violate certain charter rights, as the province has recently done in forcing teachers off the picket line and back to work. Those in attendance fear that trans youth will be impacted most.
It makes me and so many other people that I know lose hope in our government and frankly our society and a lot of people.
They are systemic and they are calculated. They know who to attack and they are coming for us.
The province is introducing Bill 9 sometime this week. It's called the Protecting Alberta's Children Statutes Amendment Act. However, its contents have not been made public.
If and when we do use it, it is not taken lightly. We contemplate every single scenario, every single option, and I think that we've used it extremely sparingly.
Having sipped from the notwithstanding clause, they're going to use it again and again and again and again. And they were planning on using it, we understand, against vulnerable children next. This is cowardly.
According to an internal government memo leaked to the Canadian press in September, the notwithstanding clause is expected to be used in legislation that bans hormone therapy for those under 16, requires parental consent for pronoun changes at school, and blocks trans athletes over 12 years old from competing in female amateur sport. One constitutional law expert says the clause was originally intended to be used in emergency cases.
If governments can, at any opportunity, do whatever they want to take away individual rights of Canadians, then it ultimately makes the Charter very, almost worthless, very weakened.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
As of 2021, Statistics Canada counted about 12,000 transgender people in Alberta. A Calgary father and his daughter have died in California after being pulled into the ocean by a large wave. On Friday, in an area well known for rip currents, the 7-year-old girl was swept off the shoreline by waves estimated to be as high as 6 meters. The sheriff's office says her father, Yuji Hu, and the girl's mother went into the water to save her. Both parents were taken to hospital where the father was pronounced dead. A volunteer diver helped recover the girl's body the next day.
There's a small beach there, but the waves are very, very strong. In that area, it's not something that you can just walk in the water and swim.
The mother was treated for hypothermia and was released. A 2-year-old child also at the scene was not injured. Calgary police say early indications show foul play was not involved after human remains were found in Nose Hill Park. On Friday, someone made the discovery while walking in the park and called police. Investigators are still waiting for autopsy results, but say it doesn't appear the death is a homicide. There are no details on the age of the person nor how long the remains were there. A 20-year-old has been charged following a carjacking which saw the driver going the wrong way on 2 major roads. It happened just before 2 Sunday morning near the Transit Garage on 32nd Avenue Northeast. Police say the vehicle was later spotted going the wrong way on Crowchild Trail. Police say their helicopter then saw the driver trying to carjack other vehicles in Cranston before heading north in the southbound lanes of Deerfoot. No one was injured. Lawrence Abadawi is now facing a number of charges, including dangerous driving and robbery. And a Calgary man is facing 75 charges after guns, body armor, stolen license plates and drugs were discovered during the search of a home in the community of Rundle. Police say officers were monitoring a stolen vehicle in the parking lot last month and arrested a 27-year-old man. They say they found one of the 2 pistols seized inside the vehicle. Well, a tearful reunion at the Calgary airport tonight. A family of Syrian refugees that live here in Alberta welcomed their daughter and her family to Canada, an arrival they've been waiting on for the past 10 years. After fleeing Jordan from conflict in Syria in 2012, the family immigrated to Canada in 2016. 6 family members were granted permanent residence in Lethbridge, but their adult daughter's fiance's application was denied. So the couple remained in Jordan as refugees as they and their family fought for them to come to Canada. And tonight, after a decade apart, the couple and their now 2 children touched down in Calgary to be reunited with the family.
Everything now awesome. I'm so happy, I'm very happy. Nothing now I'm enough, I'm enough now for everything. Yeah.
كثير كنت مبسوطة.
Very happy.
أول مرة أكون هيك مبسوطة أول فرحة لإلي تكون.
This is the best day of my life. I never felt this happy in my life together, all the family together.
Absent from today's reunion was Mohammed's father, who previously passed away while living in Lethbridge from lung disease. Mama had tried to visit, but was previously not approved for a visitor visa. Danielle's here for our first look at the forecast. A beautiful day. And I
Beautiful.
hope people enjoyed it, right?
That's the thing. I was out on a field trip with my kids today at their school. Couldn't have asked for better weather. So I really do hope that you got out, enjoyed it, because it's a very different story with regards to tomorrow. Today we were more than 10 degrees above normal. Tomorrow, our daytime high will be normal, just 2. Now, here's some things that you need to know for tomorrow to prep for your day. One, you'll need some layers and a coat for sure. We also have a decent risk of freezing rain, especially for tomorrow morning. So the commute to work may be a little tricky because it may be combined with that mixed precipitation. Freezing rain, even snowfall is possible. And then we switch over to rain in the afternoon hours and then back to potentially freezing rain and then snowfall once again later in the day. We'll talk more about this system, and when we're done with it, that's coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. Alberta will allow trophy hunters to take aim at elk and deer on fenced-in farms. The UCP government says it will boost rural tourism and help keep game farms viable. Critics, though, say it shouldn't even be called hunting and claim it poses health risks. Kevin Green reports.
Legislation introduced Monday would allow hunters to kill animals like this inside fenced-in farms. The province says it's about creating new tourism opportunities and bringing money into rural communities.
There's a huge potential for them and the communities in which surround them to be able to create an entirely new economy.
The elk and deer ranching industry has been lobbying for this for decades and intensified its efforts in the past 5 years.
They said to me, when they first approached me just over a year ago, that this is critical, that this happens for them to continue to be successful farmers in the service space.
But wildlife groups say this isn't tourism and it isn't sport.
It's not hunting. It's shooting fish in a barrel.
The Alberta Wildlife Federation argues fenced animals still interact with wild animals and penned hunting risks boosting the spread of chronic wasting disease.
Disease can be transmitted back and forth, and that concerns us greatly.
They also worry about the message it sends, saying farmed hunts are marketed around guaranteed results, something that doesn't exist in the backcountry.
They just go to these and walk around and again in a fenced yard and shoot the biggest animal they can.
More than 20 years ago, the province rejected penned hunting. Premier Ralph Klein called it abhorrent.
Clearly, 85% of the population thinks that this is not a fair way of killing deer and elk. It's not consistent with the concept of hunting as a sport.
Perhaps the mood has changed. Calgarians we spoke to Monday support the idea.
I don't think it hurts anybody, and I think everyone is entitled to do what they want on their lands.
I support it, but at the same time, it's got to be regulated.
If or when the legislation passes, regulations still need to be written and farms will have to apply for licenses, meaning fenced-in hunts won't start immediately. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Currently, pen hunting is allowed in Saskatchewan, Quebec, and about half the U.S. states. Well, coming up, a political hang-up has an Alberta minister in hot water. Tanya Furr apologizes after a profanity is left on a constituent's voicemail. We'll explain in our story coming up.
Yeas pour 170, 170. Nays contre 168, 163.
Je déclare la motion adoptée.
The Liberal government narrowly passed a confidence vote this afternoon by 170 to 168 for its federal budget, staving off a holiday election. The Bloc and Conservatives made it clear before the vote they would not be supporting it, while Green Party leader Elizabeth May voted in favor. The budget was able to pass due to 5 MPs abstaining from voting, including 2 NDP MPs and the House Speaker, who does not vote. 2 Conservative MPs also abstained, including Alberta MP Matt Jeaneroux, who is set to resign in the spring, and rural Alberta Member of Parliament Shannon Stubbs. A Calgary MLA is apologizing after accidentally recording herself using profanity on a constituent's voicemail.
All right, go to this next one.
That was a voicemail left by UCP MLA Tanya Furr while returning calls from constituents upset over how the UCP ended the teacher strike. Furr didn't realize the line was still open when she used the profanity to describe the next caller. That caller, Calgary writer Doug Furby, was sent a copy of the recording and contacted Furr for an explanation.
It was inappropriate. It was a flippant comment, and I'm grateful for the conversation that he had with me and that he accepted my apology. I really appreciate that.
The Calgary Pig and MLA says she received lots of angry calls and emails since the province used the notwithstanding clause against teachers. An NDP bill to increase Alberta's minimum wage has been defeated. UCP MLAs voted against the bill. The NDP wanted to hike the minimum wage to $18 an hour over 3 years. Right now it's $15, the lowest in Canada, and minors can be paid $13 an hour. The NDP bill would have also eliminated the lower wage for teenagers. Alberta's minimum wage hasn't changed for 7 years. For victims of domestic abuse, getting out can be a difficult decision. Some are faced with choosing a safe place to live while leaving their pets behind. Now, a shelter in High River has opened up its doors to pets to help survivors. But advocates say more of these safe spaces are needed. Here's Tyler Barrow.
Violet, the resident cat, has called Rowan House Society home since August. The High River shelter, which supports those fleeing domestic violence, wants survivors to know more pets like Violet are welcome here.
We know that many individuals have delayed leaving or have not left at all for fear of their pets.
In September, the shelter began allowing pets to stay after receiving a $20,000 grant from the Purple Leash Project. It has added kennels, a bathing area for pets with washers and dryers, air purifiers, door sweeps to prevent allergic reactions among guests, tags with the identity tied to the Rowan House Society to protect victims' identities, and an outdoor play area.
Having the pets here has been a game changer.
Purina's Purple Leash Project awarded $150,000 to 10 shelters across Canada. A shelter in Strathmore was also chosen.
Nobody should have to pick between safety and leaving their beloved pet behind.
It's a sad reality many individuals fleeing domestic violence face. According to Women's Shelters Canada, 2 in 5 women will experience domestic violence. Research done by the organization also found 56% of individuals experiencing domestic violence delayed leaving their current situation due to concerns for their pets. And 47% of survivors said they would have left earlier if they could have brought their pet to a shelter.
We see pets as family. You can't leave an abusive situation unless that pet is going to be safe.
And while many shelters also help those fleeing domestic abuse find a safe place for their pets, the funds the Purple Leash program provides helps them stay together, which in turn can help more victims come forward.
The whole goal of this program is to make more and more shelters pet ready so that survivors don't have to make that very, very difficult choice.
The Rowan House Society has already had 2 survivors bring pets.
This has really reduced a barrier to safety by being able to ensure that no one gets left behind when it comes to domestic violence.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, High River.
The shelter still has money left over, which it will use to make the facility even more pet friendly. Guests are limited to 2 pets. Well, still ahead, we have your full forecast, and after a nice sunny day today, it sounds like you're going to want to bundle up tomorrow. As we heard from Danielle, things are about to shift tomorrow for Tuesday. For full forecasts after the break, stay with us.
Today was a warm one, especially considering we're in the middle of November. A normal daytime high in the city for this time of year is around 2 degrees, and we got up to 14. So yeah, toasty temperatures in southern Alberta for today. Many communities got into the teens. 11 for Vancouver, and out east much cooler. In fact, Ottawa didn't get above freezing today. Radar and satellite. Today what we had was the warm front, so that brought in some showers to some communities earlier today. Now that warm front is pretty much out of the way now. We're looking at the cold front moving through for tomorrow. This is going to change the game for us completely. So we're going to go from a very warm day, and in some cases maybe even record-breaking warmth, to, well, we're going to have cold temperatures that are actually going to stick around for the rest of this week. So this is a longer-term cold stretch, and because it's a cold front, it's also going to spark that instability. So we're looking at rain, freezing rain, and snowfall possible because we're going to be close to that freezing mark throughout the day. 2 millimeters of rain possible throughout the day tomorrow in the city. Around a couple millimeters certainly possible, even down up QE2 and down parts of Highway 2 as well, and off to the west. When we're looking at snowfall amounts, similar idea. idea. A couple centimeters possible in Calgary, around Airdrie and Red Deer as well, and even further south. What we're also looking at is that potential for freezing rain. So time of arrival for the freezing rain is for our morning commute. Now, in many cases, it should be quite light, and the ground is so warm, so it will melt on contact right away, but it may make some spots a little slick. So you may want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for your commute to work tomorrow morning. Again, down Highway 2, Calgary down to Lethbridge is where 7:30 a.m. basically between 7 and 9 a.m. is when we have the highest potential of getting any sort of freezing rain. Then we have it switch over to some rainfall here and there. And then as this system spins, it's going to pull down some much colder air from the north. And that's going to really cool things down enough to switch it to snowfall. So in Calgary, just after 3 p.m. is when we could start to make that switch into some snowflakes, maybe even back to freezing rain, and then the snowflakes. And then that snow, that will all start to shift off to the east. So areas around Medicine Hat, Coronation, likely won't see any of the precipitation until later in the day, closer to the supper hours. Then this is out, and then we're dry and stable, but we will remain cooler. 2 degrees is our high for tomorrow. Again, risk of freezing rain, especially in the morning hours. Then rain, then snowfall is possible. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, you're looking at a high of 4 degrees. Friday should be somewhat warm at 8 degrees, but then we're back down to 4 to kick off the weekend.
Thanks, Danielle. An Alberta senior is bringing international landmarks to life in his basement, but his latest project is one closer to home. Esmond Warren is currently building a model of the Alberta legislature. The Edmonton man has spent countless hours creating artwork out of matchsticks. His daughter gave him the first kit as a Christmas present, and his hobby grew from there. He's built replicas of the Taj Mahal, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Tower Bridge in London. Of course, the challenge now is he's running out of space.
I wish we had somewhere where we could display them so that, you know, people could see them if they're interested, because when I make them, then they stay down in our basement, and our basement's getting full.
Warren expects his legislature project to be complete this winter. And it would be cool to have a place to go check them out. That's very neat. Well, a fundraiser is underway that is sure to make you smile. The annual campaign launched in Calgary with the help of some Stampeders. We got this story coming up. The celebrations continue in Saskatchewan. Last night, fans spilled onto the streets of downtown Regina moments after the Rough Riders' Grey Cup win over the Montreal Alouettes. This afternoon, players greeted fans at Mosaic Stadium and posed for photos and signed autographs. Tomorrow, a Regina street nicknamed the Green Mile will host the championship parade that will end at the Saskatchewan legislature. Thousands of fans are expected to line the route. A lot of fun, and it was a great game. And a couple Calgary Stampeders lending their hands to a good cause at the Riverbend Tim Hortons today here in Calgary. The Holiday Smile Cookie campaign kicking off at Tim Hortons this morning. The sale of every cookie this week helps support the Calgary Food Bank and Tim Hortons camps. Last year, over $100,000 was raised. The Holiday Smile Cookie campaign wraps up on Sunday. And I mean, this is a no-brainer. Cookies for a good cause. Twist my rubber arm. That is all our time this evening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.